All right, Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here joined with Darius Fulghum, who makes his ring return November 8th at Fort Worth, Texas, against the rugged David Stevens, man. First and foremost, how excited are you to be back? But just not back, but back in Texas, man.
I'm extremely excited, especially back home in Texas. It's been a while. I mean, it's been like 2 years since I fought back in Texas, which was back in Houston.
Hmm.
So I'm glad to be somewhere kind of local where a lot of my immediate people can be able to for sure make it and
Hmm.
have a good turnout, great crowd.
Absolutely. I think from the last time we talked, you had a big fight with Bektemir, which,
Yeah.
win or lose, it was definitely something where a lot of fight fans, if they didn't know of you, they definitely know you now. They gained a lot of respect. They enjoyed the fight. I've heard a lot of pundits speak highly of you in that setting. So just asking you, man, just kind of reflecting, what have you took from that fight looking back? And I guess what could you be kind of done better? What have you learned, etc.
I took a lot really from that fight, kind of both kind of like pros and cons, right? Like, big pro is like I know for sure where I belong at, that I belong at the top of the division. And of course, I'm not going to sit here and argue like the outcome, how I felt about the fight.
Hmm.
It is what it is. Outcome happened, but my big takeaways is really understanding, like, man. And I told Eric this, I told Oscar this, that I know for sure, out of my mind, that I'm gonna bring a belt back to the stable with Golden
Hmm.
Boy. Um, I learned that for sure that weekend. As much as I know about myself, there's a lot of things that like I've talked about, right? That and they're all things in theory. I never had to really experience certain things, but I got to really see things firsthand. What things were. This is the first time really going 12 rounds and being kind of pushed to that point. I mean, this is out of all my fights, I haven't really been like hit like that.
Hmm.
Um, First time really where I'm in a banger kind of fight and doing 12 rounds at that pace, that tempo, with a great opponent like that. Man, it showed me a lot that I had within myself, right?
Hmm.
And the other second thing too was, I think a lot of fighters fear on taking a loss for a lot of reasons, right? And one of those reasons being on how like people will handle it. Like sometimes we feel like this fear of like abandonment of like what my people think of me or whatever. Um, and I always tell them, man, I got great people. They would never do that. I got to actually see it, man. Like after this fight, I remember leaving the locker room and being just surrounded by so much genuine love from all my family. But I got the best family ever, bro. It is without a doubt. And I remember walking out there. This is my first loss, man. I'm it's weighing so heavy on my heart. Felt like I won, and I had to just deal with all the emotions of everything and not get my hand raised. And I felt like such a loser in that moment. And to walk out and see my family like that, man, listen, bro, I didn't lose, bro.
Hmm.
At that moment, I always say I didn't take a loss. Like I came back to the people that I love, genuinely care about, and they embraced me, welcomed me, just so happy for me and proud for me. Bro, that made the night, honestly, for me. Um, so I mean, those are a couple of things. I think there's a lot more too that I've taken away from the fight, but I can keep going on and on about it. But those are some of the big things for me.
Absolutely. What was huge is that I know you spoke about it, like you were going into the fight as an underdog. A lot of, are you sure? This guy has a lot of experience. And I think kind of what you were speaking about, your takeaway is that even with kind of a loss on your record, it seems like it almost like helped you as a confidence instead of discourage you. In most cases, fighters were feel like, oh man, I don't belong at this level. This was a huge step up, and you essentially, arguably, many people might debate on the outcome, and maybe even a rematch, right? Like if you guys ran it back, right away. I mean, I think people would definitely give you a humongous chance of winning that fight. So I think my question with you is, I have to ask this. Bernard Hopkins is someone that's around you all the time. He speaks highly of you, right? When he started boxing, he didn't have the perfect record in the beginning. In addition to it, when he went to fight for his title, he didn't win his title, like he had to fight again for the middleweight championship of the world. And those type of undefeated records don't matter in a sense of those things. So what was the conversation like with you and Bernard or even you and Oscar afterwards? Because, Oscar also had setbacks later in his career, but, he reclaimed the throne as well.
Well, I mean, on that really note, I mean, this is really just the grand scheme of life, though. Like
Hmm.
life is gonna have its ups and downs. Everybody's gonna have their wins and their losses, not just in the ring, but in a lot of spaces in life. Um, shit, almost every day we're taking some form of a loss. But realistically, kind of what we've all talked about, it's not really what really defines you, really.
Hmm.
I mean, you could take a loss and then just sit back and be like, oh, I'm such a loser, pit and pout. It's not the mentality of a real champion. Because setbacks and stuff is gonna happen,
Hmm.
and I mean that's kind of the same message that they told me too. Talking to even Oscar after the fight, like they still really behind me. I know they can still see the potential in me in the same way. And this was the thing, even when I was in the fight, watching the fight, I think a lot of people tell, like, realistically, skill wise, like, I have all the tools necessary. And I think even against Beck, I am the better boxer. I can say that confidently, and I really truly believe that because that wasn't even like the best version of myself in a sense, right? Like, I still lacked a lot of experience, right? At that kind of caliber of a level. And a lot of stuff that also went wrong in that fight was a lot of stuff was just my ego, right? Um, or I wasn't really boxing smart, you know. They call him Beck the bully, and I said, well, "This guy's not finna bully me." I've been bullied before. I don't like bullies. I'm not finna let that happen. I said, "I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna take no step backwards. I'm not finna box. Like I'm gonna beat him at his own game." And so that was a big ego problem that I had.
Hmm.
Ran into the fight where I didn't necessarily box how I probably should have, right? But like I said, and knowing that, like I said, I know that I feel like I'm a better boxer for sure.
Hmm.
Rematch come across, I kind of listen. I talked to my dad and even for my family. Like I said, that loss kind of hurt them a lot too because they had to witness that. They care so much about me, and how much that loss kind of hurt my pops. And I know he's losing sleep over it. He said he won't be able to sleep good at night until I run it back with him and I beat back and really um atone for what happened on May 30th.
There's a lot of opportunities because depending on what Terrence does, right? He has, I guess, first, I'm sure that was a performance in your division that definitely earned your respect more than just already, but just kind of this era. But, Terrence beating Canelo in the fashion that he did. Just what did you think? And ultimately, if he goes down to 160 or does something else, those belts are all freed up, kind of almost like a blessing to a degree,
Man,
right? And
huge blessing. I remember when I was watching that fight. I was going for Terrence anyway. I like Terrence a lot. I think Terrence is a great fighter. I like even like watching a lot of his interviews and hearing what he's saying, hearing that kind of moves. I like Terrence a lot. So not even person I want him to win, but not also for that reason. But I just knew Terrence went like he really can retire and be done peacefully. But regardless of if he fights again or not, I don't see it being at 168. Um, And so you're right. I said that for a while. Like the division's gonna change, and I just need to make sure I put myself in a position for when it does,
hmm
that I can be able to go grab one of those belts.
yeah,
Um, which is very likely. Me and Beck fought. That was a final eliminator. Beck's
hmm
ranked number one now. I didn't drop in the rankings necessarily too far, so I know I'm like one or two fights away from being back in a good contention spot. But man, what the story would that be? Belts freeing up, and I get an opportunity of fighting back for a world title.
has to happen.
And that's a way of atoning. And that's happened a lot of times in my career.
Hmm.
I fought some really good guys, and I always beat them when it mattered the most. National Golden Gloves, Olympic trials, I always came through when it mattered the most to get the win. And I think that would make the best story possible for my career and the best way of redemption.
Yeah, and there's stories like that all the time. I think when Joe Louis fought Max Schmeling, he lost to Max Schmeling the first time, but when kind of during the war, it felt pivotal. Like that was the one you
Yeah.
really needed to win, and Joe was able to beat Max Schmeling. So now this is for the title, if that by any
Yeah.
means, if he makes it there and a rematch works out. So I think that would be huge, especially now that you have a tops card, right? Like how cool is that? where you
Uh,
have those sporting trading cards, right? I think there's a few of them, right? I think there's one with
uh,
you and Eric Priest at stablemates. You have your own signature. Like what was that whole experience like when you got the news that these cards are out?
oh man, it was kind of hard to really kind of believe because like when I first hear about it, I think about man, my dad and my brother, big baseball guys, and they used to. I remember that back when I was a kid, they had this big binder of this booklet of all these baseball cards. I'm pretty sure still. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Hmm.
I was like core memory from my childhood, and I didn't really understand it on why they collected all these cards, but I knew it had a lot of importance, a lot of meaning.
Hmm.
And then you talk about 20 some years later to be able to have one of my own. Oh man, listen, that's something that's like truly special though, you know? It's almost like being a kid and I still haven't been on a video game yet.
It's time.
That's
There's
the
still time
that's
though.
that's the next thing to mark off. I gotta get on a video game. I
And
always said I gotta it's weird though. If I was on a video game, I don't think I'd be able to use myself though.
no, I mean you were afraid
But
to get knocked out virtually or something.
man, what?
I mean, look, that's part of the fun, right? You let your homie play
Okay.
you, right? And then like you getting fucked up, like someone's
Hey,
beating, you're like, yo, man,
hey,
what are you
that's
doing?
gotta be the hard part about being on a video game, though. Like if they really like mess up a certain feature about you, or they put on your stats and your chin is like a 50
Oh
out
my
of
God.
100, your power is like low or your speed is low. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know where are they getting these attributes from. Is that how the people really think of? So that's gonna be the hard part about being a video game is they really taking. It's like you really get to see how people really view you.
Hmm.
And how you look, how your style is, all your attributes. Yeah, yeah. So that'd still be dope though. But I don't think I can play with myself. So I
That's
can't do
fair.
it.
That's fair. That's fair. You know someone's gonna play as you though. One of your homies, you gonna get
I
all
know.
mad when he's ass at the game, man. That's what I'm saying. He picking you in front of your friends, and you
Yeah,
getting
that
tore
shit just
up.
makes it funny.
Well,
That is
look,
funny.
my last set of questions, just in regards of your fight. I know that your opponent, he's faced Bektemir. Essentially, this is just a fight where I think it allows you to fight back in Texas and work on some of those tools. But is there anything else like that I need to know about when you look at David Stevens? Because I know he's a Philly fighter. I think he trains with Ronnie Shields, so he's familiar with
Yeah,
Texas. The
yeah,
weather, the heat.
yeah. Yeah, he trains out here, so I know David really well. We spent time together. I know him personally and stuff. We sparred before. I think David's a great competitor, a great guy, and I think it makes for an entertaining fight nonetheless. I know David and his team are training hard. I know he's gonna push me in this fight. And it's not gonna be an easy one. It's not somebody I'm like overlooking at all. Like David's a tough dude, and I know for sure like this is my also comeback fight off a loss. I really gotta bring it.
Mhm.
And I know David's trying to climb his way up and become a world champion too as well. So I think that's what makes it an entertaining fight. It's not like some guy who's just like, you know, some like journeyman guy. Like David's a live dog, and so I'm expecting to be a good fight.
Is there anyone that you worked with in this particular camp? Like, because I know you worked in the past with David Morrell and
Uh,
Gavashek and some other solid guys. I think I've seen you spar Jose Usataki out in Vegas.
yeah.
So, is there anyone that you kind of worked in this camp or worked around kind of a level like that?
No, no, not in this camp. Nobody that be of that you would know of like a former world champion or a top contender. So not in this camp, no.
Okay, but was there some young kids or some top
Yeah,
guys
I will
that?
say there's my guy Jaden Britton. He just fought recently on the overtime card
Hmm.
that they had here in Houston.
Hmm.
Sam Arnold, was sparring with him. He came out actually down here yesterday. So those two guys I was sparring with yesterday, both two really great guys
Is
though.
that why you say Thursdays are your hardest days in camp?
Oh man, my Thursdays my hardest days because after I spar, I do my bag work, I do my sprints, and then I had wrestling practice that night.
Oh shit. Oh
Now
shit.
that's what wore me out.
That's fair. That's fair.
So not only with just the sparring and the sprints, but wrestling. Yeah, I do wrestling on Thursday, so that's what kills me.
So, well, we
I haven't,
have
I
it.
haven't
Go
I
ahead.
haven't done it in a long time, and I don't know how much Bud got left, but uh, that's what I got to see. Bud, when they ever fight in the ring, but I know Bud got a wrestling background. I gotta see Bud on the mat.
So you challenging Bud to a wrestling
Yeah,
match?
I gotta see Bud on the mat for sure.
I
That's something.
mean,
That's something that's got we got to make happen for sure.
I mean, like he said, he's always worked and sparred big guys. I mean, granted, I don't know, because he got his boy Lester Martinez in your division. So even if, by all means, if Terrence leaves, you might have to still face his stablemate. So, I mean, would you?
And, I was surprised you didn't bring that one up too, but the Martinez and Billy fight. Banger fight, great fight, and that's what I think makes the 168 so exciting. There's a lot of guys in the division that make for really good fights. So I think that's what I'm like really amped up on really understanding like division can open up soon, but there's a lot of talent there, a lot of people that's a lot of great names to fight, a lot of interesting matchups. Um, so like I said, I'm really excited for the future of this division. I just gotta take one fight at a time and take care of my business November 8th, so I can be ready for the future.
Awesome. Right before I let you go, main event, Lubin, Ortiz. How do you think that fight plays out, man?
So I'm actually really excited for this fight when it got announced. Then this before I even knew that I was going to be on the card, right? I was like, oh yeah, I got to go to this one because I just know, man. Ortiz brings it every time. He's very relentless, aggressive, nonstop. He's strong, can punch. Lubin the same way, got some pop too, but it's got some real craftiness, good
Hmm.
boxing ability. I think it makes for just an interesting fight, man. Like I'm actually really excited for it.
Hmm.
Um, If you ask me my prediction, no idea. That thing can go either way, but I am gonna rock with Ortiz on this one though. I like
Have you seen him train? Like a workout with him or anything? Like, because I know you guys
uh-uh.
do. Okay.
No, I haven't. No.
Awesome. Well, the world's gonna see you, Virgil, Lubin, Kid Austin, Jojo Diaz. After Jojo had that crazy fight with Regis
Yeah,
Prograis.
that
It's
was good. That fight surprised me. I was not expecting that fight to be as good as it was. It's funny. I remember messaging in the group as I'm watching the fight. I messaged in my group chat, and I'm like, man, this is a good fight. And then
I
about 6 round, I'm like, God, that is a good fight. By the ninth round, I say, yo, this fight is crazy. Like
yeah.
I kept messaging back and forth. And just in case I haven't said it, I gotta say it again. This fight is insane. I think it just far exceeded my expectations of how much I was gonna enjoy it. A lot of back and forth, a lot of good action.
For
But
sure. I think a lot had to do, and I'll put myself out there, and it's more of a compliment for JoJo, especially at this state, is that I think I underestimated JoJo's ability to hang with Regis because he hurt Regis like it felt like three, four times, especially
a
like what the
lot.
first or second round. I thought he was going to stop Regis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy.
I think you're right. It far exceeded my expectations though.
Awesome. Well, right before I let you go, for the fight fans that's going to see the stat card out on November 8th, what do you want to let them know?
He is going to make the top division, and this is where it starts comeback fight November 8th. So I get back in the winning column and start climbing my way back up to become a top super middleweight contender and then future world champion.
All right. Awesome.